Michael Avenatti's a beast.
Okay, that's true.
And
he's a beast.
He's a beast, and he keeps popping Donald Trump and all of his folks in the mouth. John Meacham says he may be the savior of the republic.
He really is a master of the media cycle. I owe Michael Avenatti an apology. For the last couple of weeks, I've been saying, enough already, Michael. I've seen you everywhere. What do you have left to say? I was wrong, brother. You have a lot to say. The Democrats could learn something from you.
The savior of the republic. Who gives these people TV shows? For months, as you know, the press could not get enough of the world's creepiest porn lawyer. Hundreds of fawning media appearances propelled him to become a leading Democratic candidate for the presidency, which is where he is right now. But in the last 2 weeks, and entirely by accident, the creepy porn lawyer reminded the public about why evidence and the presumption of innocence still matter in the country and may have saved Brett Kavanaugh in the process. So now his former benefactors are mad, and they're turning on him.
Some of your Democratic colleagues have been saying that the Democrats, your fellow Democrats' case against Justice Kavanaugh was weakened by Michael Avenatti.
Michael Avenatti is probably the best thing to happen to Brett Kavanaugh, isn't it? I mean, all these Democrats that have been flirting with him, they've got to really be embarrassed.
A lot of Democrats are saying, and are you hearing this, that Avenatti took what was a sympathetic case with Ford and turned it into a circus, losing them the high ground. Are you hearing?
The Michael Avenatti circus comes to town.
Avenatti came in with the Swetnick allegations of druggy gang rape stuff that seems to have been much less taken as credible. Avenatti did a huge favor to the Trump White House.
They're concerned that he might be hurting their beloved political party. David Brown is an attorney. He's director of the Brunswick Group. He's a former advisor to Senator Patty Murray, and he joins us. David, thank you a lot for coming on. So does it turn out that Stormy Daniels' former lawyer is not, in the end, the savior of the republic, as MSNBC dubbed him?
Well, I think it gives Michael Avenatti a little too much credit to say that he really was the deciding factor in this. I think we know that now Justice Kavanaugh was confirmed because of a process that the Republicans ran, and they were single-minded and determined in ensuring his nomination, no matter the very serious and credible allegations that were raised against him.
Would you? But they weren't. And I think you're right. I'm not sure that he was decisive in this. They weren't the only single-minded, determined parties, though, I would say, in this debate. The Democrats were those things, too. And would you describe the allegation of his client that she attended 10 consecutive gang rapes, didn't report any of this to police or tell any of her friends or relatives, and that Judge Kavanaugh was present at some of these, drugging the punch? Oh, but wait, she says later, he wasn't. Is that a credible allegation, do you think?
What strikes me about the allegation, and I believe she swore under penalty of perjury, in her declaration. So, you know, I think as a lawyer that says something to me. But it was striking to me that Senator Collins
but she contradicted it in a later interview.
Yeah. So my takeaway from that, when Senator Collins said, I think it was October 2nd, Tucker, that she wanted that allegation to be included in the scope of the FBI investigation, to me that would have been the right way forward, allowing for the FBI to fairly impartially assess the credibility of her allegations by building a fact pattern or record.
How would they go about doing
that?
Since she, as you said, already gave her declaration under oath, she named no other person present other than people who already under oath denied that she was telling the truth. There was literally nobody to interview except her, and she was making claims that were so stupid that even Democratic senators were blushing. I mean, there weren't 10 gang rapes in a row in Chevy Chase and no one heard about it. I mean, that's just not true, and everyone knew it. So why wouldn't Democrats say to creepy porn lawyer, come on now, you know, this is not helpful?
I mean, I think you did see some members give far greater credence to Dr. Blasey Ford's testimony. I mean, if anything, the focus on Dr. Ford's testimony was very powerful, in part because she did come forward and she did testify, and members had an opportunity to ask her questions. But, you know, look, the broader takeaway for me here is that, unfortunately, the FBI investigation was not comprehensive. In fact, Justice Kavanaugh and Dr. Blasey Ford weren't even interviewed as part of that investigation. So I think it was a missed opportunity for us to clear up a lot of the questions.
But are you saying, but I just want to understand,
Okay,
so but I just want to understand what you're saying. Are you saying that because creepy porn lawyer's client, the one who claimed the 10 consecutive public gang rapes that didn't happen, and you know it as well as I, the fact that she wasn't interviewed by the FBI means that he shouldn't have been confirmed? Are you really saying that?
I just want to make sure you're referring to Mr. Avenatti when you're using that term. I don't watch your show. So
I'm not fully familiar. Right, the lawyer who represented Stormy Daniels, who's now a leading presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, the savior of the republic. In the words of a best-selling author.
Well, let's get to that because I'm not sure he's a leading candidate. I was curious when I heard you say that.
Well, I mean, he's visiting. He's been invited by Democrats in Iowa, New Hampshire, and other early primary states. But let me just say, are you saying that because his client, the 10 gang rape in a row client, she wasn't interviewed about her ludicrous claims that somehow Kavanaugh shouldn't have been confirmed? Is that what you're saying?
And that's not what I said. I wish that she had been interviewed, and I wish that the FBI could have probed her story and then offered a more complete record. That's what I'm saying. I think that we have a missed opportunity here because there are very serious questions that are still outstanding because the FBI investigation was not allowed to be as complete and holistic as I think many members, certainly Democratic members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, you saw their statement, wish that it had been, and I suspect several Republicans
if you
as
could
well.
Just quickly bottom line it for me, just about the creepy porn lord, the CPL component of this. Would you say you're happy to have him in your party and he should keep doing what he's doing because that's what Democrats stand for, or maybe he should go back to doing whatever it is he does?
I mean, we're a Big Tent party. I'm happy for anyone who's stepping forward and standing up for what they believe in. But look, it's going to be a really crowded primary field in 2020. So I am not foolish enough to offer any kind of forecast as to who's going to be the nominee in 2020.
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for him. Well, look, I'm not even a Democrat, but I just want to tell you, I'm Foursquare on his side.
I'm sure
David,
he'll be
thank you
very
for coming
happy
on
to hear
tonight.
that.
I know
Thanks,
he will be.
appreciate it.
Thank you.